Hi, I'm Simone Collins. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Australia, and today I'm going to show you how I have made this card. I'm using a couple of products that are currently on the last chance list. That is of right now, they're still available on the last chance list. One of them is Builder Blossoms. Then I've got Beautiful Butterflies, the stamps, and then the Beautiful Butterflies dies. And then I'm also going to be using one of the dies from the Stylish Shapes dies. This set is not on the last chance list. This one here will still be available for quite some time. The colours that I chose for this card actually came from my January bingo sheet. So if you're not already a part of my Facebook group, Simone Snippers, or you're not on my my current newsletter list, excuse me, or following me on Facebook at all, you may not know that I have a bingo game going every month this year. This is the January sheet. As you can see here, I've already done a couple of these where I've completed the full lines. Now the next, the colours that I'm releasing for next week is Coastal Cabana, Lemon Lime Twist, and Pretty in Pink. I'm actually not going to be doing a Valentine's card or anniversary card today, and I'm not using DSP, so I can't actually complete my whole bingo line, but never mind, it's still managed to give me a bit of direction in that now I know what colours I'm going to use. So with that in mind, I am using Pretty in Pink, Lemon Lime Twist, Coastal Cabana, because they're the ones from my bingo sheet, and in addition to that I'm using Bubble Bath and Daffodil Delight. Let's get started. I'm starting with my piece of basic white thick cardstock, and this piece of card is just the standard width, 21 centimetres, but I've cut it to 14.5 centimetres, and then I've got a score line here at 10.5. So I'll just fold that, and that will be our card base ready to go. Now, and then the next thing that I'll show you is this one here. Now this is a little bit different. It looks like a complete sheet. It's not. I've actually cut this to 27 centimetres by 19 centimetres. Okay, so starting with my Builder Blossom stamp set, I am going to take out this one here, and I'll pop that one onto a size D acrylic block. There we go, and I have decided to make the flowers that I'm going to make with this, I'm doing out of Coastal Cabana. So here we go. So you ink up your Coastal Cabana, and the reason I've made this so big is I'm actually going to do this, do the stamps onto this piece of card, and then I'm going to cut it into quarters, and then I will have 4 card bases ready to go for the cards. So I just need to randomly put these flowers on. Oh, it's not actually that easy, I'm discovering, with the camera in my face. Sorry if my head ends up in your way. Now of course it doesn't really need to be exact anyway. I'm going to call this Perfectly Imperfect. There we go, there's one there. How many did I do? I think I kind of did 3 flowers altogether. And look, this is not necessarily at all the positioning that I used last time. I have no idea where I did them last time. Oops, let's pull that back in just to show you. Oops, that was close, I almost dropped it. There we go, and now I'll just do maybe one more over here. So this is one way that you can make your own DSP. Okay, so that is those. Now I might just, I might come back to doing some more of that in a minute. I might have some extra petals or something. I'll just leave that for now and give that a clean, and then move on to the next one. So now I've used this one here, sorry I popped it on, this little petal here, pop that on, and I've inked up my Pretty in Pink, and I'll start to put these flowers on now. Let's see, I always worry that I'm going to get the placement wrong, but let's face it, it doesn't really matter, it's always going to be just fine. There we go. Totally random. And I think I might just do a couple of random bits there, and maybe another one over here. Okay, I think that one there's not so good, but never mind, it won't really matter by the time we're finished. So just clean that stamp, and the next one. So for this one I'm using the Daffodil Delight and this really small petal here. Pop that on there, and let's get started. Oh, I think this one here, I'm going to end up having to do an extra petal there. Never mind, I think that will be fine. Couple over here. And the same there. Okay, there we go. So now I think I need to do something else here. I've decided I'm going to do another little bit of blue just right on the edge there. Coastal Cabana back out. There we go. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Just quickly give my, oops, that's the wrong one. Quickly give my stamps a clean, and we'll move on to the next bit. Now taking this one here, popping that onto my acrylic block. I think there's something on that one. I'll just give it a quick clean before I use it. Okay, now I'm using the Lemon Lime Twist just to do the centres of the blue flowers. There we go, that's that. Give that a quick clean. I always clean my stamps, otherwise I end up by wiping my arm on them or something and smudge things. Oops, I was about to close that, don't want to do that. Now I'll take this one here. Now that actually feels like it's got stuff on it as well. Just give that another quick clean. And okay. Pop this in the centres. There we go. Give that a clean. And now I just want to make sure that I've got all of those other bits filled in. They just look a little bit too plain for me. So what I did, and I didn't want to make it too dark, so I actually used Bubble Bath, which I know was not on the list, and this stamp just here. Now that I'm about to do, I'm just going to double check that I did use Bubble Bath. I'm sure that's Bubble Bath, yes. I'm pretty sure. Yes, the other one was too dark. So now I'm just going to use Bubble Bath just to do some random speckles. You can see this is extremely random. Doesn't matter if it goes over the petals. So that just fills in all of those little blank bits nicely. I think that's kind of about it. To be honest, you sort of can't really overdo this because it's very subtle. In actual fact, I think I want to go some. That didn't make sense. I want to just pop some here on the bits of blue as well. There we go. Maybe even, like I said, you really can't overdo it. There a little bit on the yellow as well. Whoops, and maybe over here. I think we're just about done. How does that look? Okay, just before I cut this up, so just show you how that's ended up. So I'm just going to go and cut this in half so that I end up by having 4 rectangles, and they will each be 13.5 by 19. Sorry, 13.5 by 9.5 centimeters. I'll be back in a sec. Here we have it. I've cut them all up now, so this is going to be our card bases. I'm just going to do one of them. I'm not going to do all of them today because I only need to do one to show you. So I don't really know which one I'm going to choose. It doesn't really matter. I think I'll just choose one of these ones here. You know what? Totally random. Let's go with that one. Okay, so that's the next bit. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly glue this on. I really like using the multi-purpose glue for this because it just gives me a little bit of wiggle time. Where am I in the camera? There we go. So that so I can kind of put it down and then just straighten it up afterwards. If I use double-sided tape, I find it just doesn't give me enough time. If you're really quick, you can take it up, but it doesn't give me enough time to really get the placement where I want it to be. So there we go. There's that one done. So now I'm going to take my e-block with the big butterfly, pop that one down, and I've decided to use Bubble Bath because when I did this, I did actually do one of these using Pretty in Pink for the ink, but it was just a little bit too dark. I wanted it to be a bit more subtle. So I'll just quickly give this a clean. I often give my stamps a quick clean before I use them because they seem to pick up stuff. Okay. So here we go, using the Bubble Bath. Now on a bigger stamp it is easier to put the stamp pad, the ink pad, on the stamp instead of the other way around. So there we go, do that. Now I just have to stand up to do this bit and make sure it's just right. And there we go, there's our butterfly. So just getting ready now to do the die cutting. So there's my butterfly. I cut that onto a piece of cardboard. Sorry, I stamped that onto a piece of cardboard that was 11 centimeters by 8.5. Then I take this one here. This is a little square that I've got. This is 7 by 7. And I'm just going to grab out one of the dies now from these Stylish Shapes. So I'm actually using the second biggest square for this. So I'll be using that. Then I'll take, these are my butterfly dies I'm using, so I'll be using this die on there, and then I've got a piece of Pretty in Pink that is 10.5 by 9 centimeters, and that's where I'll be cutting out that butterfly there. Here I've cut these pieces ready to do the next part of our card. So this one can go on here. So could use either double-sided tape, but I don't know. I kind of go through phases. At the moment I'm in a multi-purpose glue phase, that's for sure. So I'll use that for as much as I can, which is why it seems like the bottles are always empty. I guess that's a good thing. That means I've been doing lots with it. Okay. So there is that one done, and then this one here, we just very carefully put a little tiny bit and spread it out there. Sometimes it oozes out. If you're quick enough, you can still wipe it. Oh, there's something on there. You know what? That's going to be covered by this anyway. So once again, the multi-purpose glue gives me time to put it on and then just make sure I've centered it properly in the butterfly. There we go. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. So now I'm needing to pop these on. Now I've kind of, if I put this on there, sometimes if I stick the butterfly to the square to start with, sometimes it doesn't quite fit, so I kind of have to do it all together. Sometimes it takes me a while to get the placement just right, so I'll just have a look at how I did this one. Okay, so if I just do sort of there. Okay, so I think what I'll do to start with, okay, I'm going to pop the butterfly on the card first. Oh, I'm really sorry, I think our power has just gone out, and so the light has gone. I'll just keep going because I'm in the middle of this and I've got wet glue, but then I can wait. Our generator will start up shortly, and then we'll have power again. Sorry, that's kind of caught me a little bit off guard there. There we go. Okay, and the generator's up and running. Okay, just making sure I'm happy with the positioning there of that butterfly. Oh, there's the printer starting itself because the power's come on. There we go. Actually, I had a little dot of something, I don't know, on the white there, so I was just able to move that. Don't you love how when you have a little dot somewhere, you can usually cover it with something? So there we go, that's the butterfly. And now I'll put the square on. Now I've just realised I usually would do a bit of a play and decide whether I wanted the butterfly, or sorry, whether I wanted this card that way or that way. And I just didn't do that this time, sorry. I was so focused on what I was doing, but that is absolutely fine. Now, one of the advantages of me cutting my my cards to be 14.5 centimetres is that when I take my full A4 piece of paper and then I cut it to 14.5, and then a second one at 14.5, I have this little tiny offcut, which is usually about 7 or 8 millimetres, and that is just perfect for teeny tiny sentiments such as this one. So I just need to, oh, there we go. So I've got the So Thankful. This is from the Beautiful Butterfly set. I'll just pop that onto this one here. And if I'm just having a look at that, so I used the Pretty in Pink ink. There's the So Thankful. Just make sure that's working there. Okay. So, sorry, I think I might just bump the camera again. Sometimes I have to get up and stand up so I can see properly with the camera in my way. There we go. So I'll put on the So Thankful. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way that is. Then I will just cut this with my trimmer. I'll just quickly clean my stamp. Okay, and I'm just going to cut this with my trimmer and I'll be back. So I'm back, and I've cut that with my trimmer, and you can see on this one here I've actually got an ink line under there. I'll just show you how I do that. I just dip the bottom of that on there. You can kind of tilt it to get more if you want. I think that'll be fine. It's just kind of to give a bit of an underline to the So Thankful. And then I just take my mini Stampin' Up and now I don't use my paper snips for this because I don't want my paper snips to have any of the adhesive on them, so I've just got these scissors here. Now I find this is a little bit wide for such a narrow one, so what I do all the time, you can see how I've cut into this, and these here stuck to me earlier, so that's why they're there. So you can see I just cut a little strip out of here. Now we do actually have some puffy tape, you know, strips, but I think they're a bit too fat, personally. They're a bit too, too thick, so I tend to use this instead. So now I do want that too, because I don't really want to stick down on the butterfly, so I just need this on that end. So here we go. Now, I thought about putting some ribbon or something under the So Thankful, and I did actually have a bit of a play with that, but I didn't really like the effect of it. So, just put this on here. Just see where's a good placement for that. And try and make sure we're straight. There we go, pretty happy with that. And then finishing touches, Strawberry Slush and Pretty in Pink Gems. Now I'll just pop these on. Now I've just used the little pick for these. And I'll grab my Take Your Pick. So, how did I do these? So, there's 2 different sizes. So I've used one of these ones down here. Then I've used one of the bigger ones. I think I've got too much stuff out of my Take Your Pick there. So there we go, pop a bigger one there. And then another smaller one just to pop up there. And that's that. So, last but not least, I just need to pop this onto my card base. Oh, I was about to stick it to the envelope and that wouldn't be good. Okay, so once again, I like to have that wiggle time. I am definitely running out of this multi-purpose glue. Luckily, I just ordered more. Okay. Pop that on. And there is my So Thankful card. Pop that with the envelope and we're good to go. Now, just a bit of an afterthought here. I've decided that I actually want to put a flower on my envelope. Now there's no point putting it over here because that's where the stamp will go, so I need it over here. So I'll put it on here and I'm going to use the yellow. And just going to put the last yellow petals on here. That's that. And then pop this. Close that, otherwise I will dip my elbow in it. Oops. And then just give that a quick clean. I always like to do that. Now just quickly my lemon lime twist. And there. So there we have the card that goes with that, with the envelope, and that's the envelope on the back. However, do you know what? I'm just not going to finish there. I think it needs some of the Bubble Bath pink as well. So, there we go. There we go. Actually, once again, like I said, you can't really do too much with the with this pink, and I think it kind of needs a little speckles, a little bit of speckles. I don't know, my English is not working. There we go. So that's that. All done. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Even my little afterthought stamping of the envelope. Look, you could do the same on the inside. Lots of people do stamp on the insides. I'm not going to this time. I think the envelope's enough, but feel free to do whatever you want to. All right, thanks everyone. Bye.